wabarakatuh. Good night, everyone. Before we start our presentation, let me to introduce our team. We are from Team 4. I am as moderator and we will present about problem-based learning. And Puspa as the first presenter and Revado as the third presenter. Okay, the presentation is about to begin. For the first speaker, the time is yours.
Thank you for the time you have given me. I will explain my material. My material is problem-based learning. Problem-based learning is an instructional learner-controlled approach that empowers learner to conduct research, integrate theory and practice, and apply knowledge and skill to develop a viable solution to a definite problem. Problem-based learning is focused experiential learning organized around the investigation, explanation, and resolution of meaningful problems. In problem-based learning, students work in small collaborative groups and learn what they need to know in through the learning cycle divided in 5. One in this cycle, also known as the problem scenario, they formulate and analyze the problem by identifying the relevant part from the scenario. This fact identification step helps students represent the problem. As students understand the problem better, they generate hypotheses about possible solutions. An important part of the cycle in knowledge definitions relative to the problem. These knowledge definitions become what are most at the learning issues that students recite during the self-directed learning. On the abstract knowledge gained, the teacher helps students learn the cognitive skill needed for problem solving and collaboration. Because students are self-directed, meaning their learning goals and strategies to solve PBL all structured problems, those without any single correct solution. They also acquire the skills needed for lifelong learning. Problem-based learning may be used either as the mainstay of an entire curriculum or for the delivery of individual course. In practice, problem-based learning is usually part of an entire curriculum using a system-based approach with non-clinical material delivered in the context of clinical practice. A module or short course can be designed to include besides teaching methods, including PBL, to achieve the learning outcomes in knowledge, skill, profit, and attitude. A small number of lectures may be desirable to introduce topic or provide an overview of difficult subject material in conjunction with the problem-based learning scenario. Subsequent times should be allowed a week for students to do the self-directed learning required for problem-based learning.
Okay, thanks to Puspa. Now I will continue the material. The material is the characteristic of problem-based learning. Problem-based learning, or PBL, is an instructional methodology. That is, it is an instructional solution to learning problems. The primary goal of problem-based learning, or PBL, is to enhance learning by requiring learners to solve problem. It is a methodology with the following characteristics. The first, it is problem-focused. The learners begin learning by addressing simulation of an authentic will structure problems. The contents and skills to be learned are organized around problems rather than as a hierarchical list of topics. So a reciprocal relationship exists between knowledge and the problem. Knowledge building is stimulated by the problem and applied back to the problem. The second, it is student-centered because faculty cannot dictate learning. The third, it's self-directed. So the student individually and collaborative assume responsibility for generating learning issues and processing through self-assessment and peer assessment and assess their own learning materials. Required assignments are rarely made. And the fourth, it's self-reflective suck that learners monitor their understanding and learn to adjust strategies for learning. And the fifth, tutor are facilitator or not knowledge disseminator. The problem-based learning or PBL learning process normally involves the following steps. The first, students in group of 5 to 8 encounter and reason through the problem. They attempt to define and solve the problem and set learning goals by identifying what they know already, what hypotheses or conjectures they can think of, what they need to learn to better understand the dimensions of the problem, and what learning activities are required and who will perform them. And the second, during self-directed study, individual studies complete their learning assignment. They collect and study resources and prepare report to the group. And the third, students share their learning with the group and revisit the problems, generating additional hypotheses and rejecting other based on their learning. And the fourth, at the end of the learning period, or usually 1 week, students summarize and integrate their learning. PBL was designed with several important goals. It is designed to help students construct an extensive and flexible knowledge base, develop effective problem-solving skills, develop self-directed lifelong learning skills, become effective collaborator, and the last, become intrinsically motivated to learn. Okay, now we move to the last speaker. For the last speaker, the time is yours.
Thank you for the time you have given me. I will continue the material from Isa. My material is the influence of problem-based learning methods to improving students' psychological aspects. There are several studies regarding problem-based learning methods. Among them are both Supratikna and Titik Christian. In his research, revealed that the learning methods problem-based learning has been proven to be effective in learning theoretical lectures. Besides that the research results also show that problem-based learning is proven to be more effective than traditional learning methods for learning theory and the last one is about the influence of difference between lecture on the result and the learning process, both with the method PBL and traditional. From the characteristic of the problem-based learning, which has been described in above, which is started by a problem. Then students deepen their knowledge of what they already know and what they need to know of how to solve the problem that students can cause problems that are considered interesting for students, so, so can they are encouraged to take an active role in learning. This method stimulates someone to reach proactive goal in competitive atmosphere to active something. So it is and some that this PBL learning model has positive contribution in increased assessment motivation.
So that is all about our presentation. Does anyone have a question? And I will try to answer the question tomorrow. Thank you so much for your attention. And wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good night.